Hello and welcome to Footy Judge Mo Phil Foden, superstar today after I probably got it wrong in this morning or something. I didn't even say anything, but I apparently got it wrong. For the comment, people are saying that I slandered him somehow, and we'll talk about it. Newcastle daylight robbery, both oil clubs, someone paid more than the other probably, or not. It's just a joke. Don't take it serious. It's all right. But Newcastle, heroic defending, heroic performance, got robbed by a disgraceful referee in Paris. To be honest with you, they deserved the win just because it was the 92nd minute and Kylian Mbappe is crying. That's why I left that picture on the thumbnail on purpose, because they don't deserve the point, of course. But Manchester City come back from behind. Is it buzzing Manchester City? Or we have to ask questions. We're here with a fantastic panel with you. Noisy Pod, Mauv is here with us. Absolutely phenomenal to have him here with us. Vater is here, blessing us with his appearance, of course, Vater. Philip, Toon Tactics, of course, absolutely, repping Newcastle. And Chris, of course, Top FC is here. All the channels are in the description, people. It's easy to give these guys a subscription. It's so simple. Hit that like button if you just joined us. And I don't know where to start. And I'm going to just leave it to the guys and leave it to the chat. Should we start with Phil Foden, though?
Well, I think you forgot to introduce one more person.
Mohamed Salah. I swear to God, Mohamed, I'm completely.
Guys, I'm just gonna.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why I forgot about him.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's because my team didn't play today. I get it. Okay, you know what I'm trying to say. I understand. That's
I bottled it big time.
The whole time I'm thinking.
It's coming.
Yeah, best.
He's leaving the best for the last, right?
I thought he was gonna build you up.
Why are you wearing white?
You thought he was gonna say
background.
You thought he was gonna say the myth, the legend. Man,
I was expecting some crazy intro, and last but not least, like
that was a VAR call right there.
Guys,
I appreciate it.
For people, I apologize. I'm very sorry. You're just wearing white on a white background, and I looked at the screen, and I completely didn't see you. Apologies. Okay. The most important panelist here, Mohamed Salah, is joining us.
No, stop. Just start the show, bro. Just start the show.
Mo,
I'm out.
you were excited. You were excited to talk about Foden, so
he dipped. It's just us, boys.
I think he's punishing
Don't quit
me
now. Don't be a fraud.
No, he's punishing himself. No, rightfully so. If we're gonna start with Foden, we should. We should.
Go on.
He gets so much slack. He gets so much criticism, and I think it's because of how he came onto the scene. I think it's because of how Pep talked about him early, right? He said he hasn't seen a talent like this. He made the point of saying he hasn't seen a talent like this since Messi. And when you do things like that, there's going to be a target on your back, on your forehead, on your chest. So he's had to deal with it the whole time. But I want to say this because it's a little bit of a disservice.
Here we go. Look at this.
When you compare,
LB coming to say, okay, it would.
Yes,
Foden
LB.
cooked. Yes, LB.
Yes,
Hit the like button. Give him a subscription. Here we go, people.
listen, like where I am right now, I'm in my kitchen. So I'm about to cook, and Foden was cooking. And the thing is, he gets slighted. He gets slighted because he's playing in a team with so much quality around him.
That's
right?
it.
So, and he plays in a team with Pep, who believes in, I'm not making life easier for you as a player. I'm going to challenge you. Oh, you feel comfortable in the midfield? I'm going to push you out wide. Oh, you feel comfortable out wide? I'm going to take you to the midfield. This is the challenge that Phil has had to deal with the entire time. But I want to point this out because today isn't an anomaly. Today isn't like, oh, he stepped up in a long time. He's been stepping up. And in our most crucial, sorry, Mo, I hate to go back to this, but in our most vital game of last season, after we'd already won the Prem, after we'd already won the FA, taking care of United, when we were facing you and our man KDB went down, Pep, no hesitation, looked into the subs and called Phil to get onto that pitch. He's of quality, man. He needs his reps. Last season, he was injured, appendicitis, ankle. That really what kept him out last season. But when he's healthy, he's one of the best. And he showed his quality today.
Here's the argument that happened this morning. The argument is as simple as that. I hold Foden to a very, very high standard. I think he's as talented as anybody we have seen as a youngster. He's 23 years old at the moment. My problem with him, Nobbin sent the message. I'm going to tell you what Nobbin said, but he hasn't made a position his. Well, I can name 5 players in Manchester City that made the position theirs. Rodri, KDB, Haaland, Diaz, Edison, even Jack Grealish last year. I don't like him, but he made the position his.
Name them again.
Okay, Rodri, KDB, Haaland, Edison, Grealish last year. Most of the second half of the season made that left wing his.
All those players can only play one position.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's the argument. My point is, if you excel in a position, okay, so hear me out. If you excel in a position and you give me 9 out of 10, and you play the other position and you give me 7 or 8, as a coach, I would play you in that position the 9 or a 10 out of 10 most of the time. So the other argument is Foden given an 8 or a 7 out of 10 in 5 positions or 3 positions? That's why he goes around. Is that the argument? And if that's the argument, that means he isn't of the caliber of the Rodris. By the way, Rodri was a starter at Manchester City at the age of 24, by the way, in 2020, right? KDB, I think in 25, 26. My point is Foden is very, very good. He's very talented, absolutely phenomenal player. Why didn't he make a position his? It's like, this is mine. Nobody can shift. I'm giving you a 9 or a 10 out of 10 performance every game that you cannot shift me. You cannot move me because you will lose the 10 out of 10 performance in that position if you move me. Unless you guys think he's better than all of these players and he's given a 9 out of 10 everywhere.
But he's not better than Bernardo Silva, though. So if City plays with 3 defenders like Walker, Diaz, Guardiola back there, then there's one more position in front for him, like they did today. But if you play, it just there's nowhere. I mean, he's not better than Silva, and I guess you can invent something and put him on the left side instead of Grealish, and make it work that way.
You're judging him very harshly because the position that we all know.
By the way, I'm not judging him.
Okay, no, I'm saying
questions.
I'm saying people that make that argument. I feel like you're doing them a disservice. Number one, because you're asking. I mean, everyone's gonna tell you where's Phil Foden play. He's an attacking midfielder. That's where he's best at. But Man City have 2 of the 3 best players to play attacking midfield, which are Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne. To the point where Bernardo Silva actually has to play out wide now. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So him not making a position his is not necessarily his fault. It's just you have 2 of the best players in the world 100%. That are there right now. It's the same as Julian Alvarez, for example. If you say, oh, why isn't Julian Alvarez making the number 9 position his? Because he's a striker, yes, but you've got the best number 9 in the world there. You feel me? That's why you have
But he could also play more positions.
Exactly. But so Phil Foden, in my opinion, using that argument against him, I don't necessarily agree with. And him being able to play in multiple positions shouldn't be used as an indictment against him as well.
I couldn't say it any better than that. Mohamed Salah, well done, mate.
Listen, so that's if that's the argument, fine. So we think KDB is better than him in the 10. Do we think, for example, is Alvarez better than him?
Are you suggesting we drop KDB or move him somewhere?
No. See, I'm coming. So I'm with you. KDB is better. Is Alvarez better than him behind Erling Haaland?
No, not behind him. I mean,
so why?
Well, this is it's two different sauces though. You want to have like sort of a 10 behind Haaland, and you got Foden. But if you want another striker that's loose, then you put
Foden
Alvarez.
Isn't only a 10. Today,
I'm saying
the goal he scored today proves that he actually a lethal forward, not a 10.
Yeah, but then
the touch and putting the defender behind his back to take him completely out of the game is a complete forward move. Haaland does this. Big forwards do that. It's not a 10. A 10 would look for the cross. A 10 wouldn't have that touch. That's what I'm saying. He's brilliant. Why hasn't Pep used him up to his brilliance in that position yet?
because
let
Man
me
City
get
have
back
like
to it.
because he's got too many
brilliant
weapons.
players as well. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
That team
You're
just
playing
doesn't-
like
I don't
Man
think
City have
Bernardo's
so
as
many
talented
good
as
players
him
that they're
at
playing.
all,
They're
by the
playing
way.
centre backs at left back. They're playing centre backs in midfield just to fit all of their best players in the team. That's how like Man City are just. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
There is an element.
too many
There is
attackers.
one
Go ahead.
element in this that we don't talk about, and it's Pep and the squad size, right? So Pep likes to run with a pretty short bench, a pretty small squad, right? When there's not really anybody being left out of the match day squad. No big names getting left out of the match day squad. That's how small he keeps it. 16, 17 players. So what has to happen is he has to play them all, right? And that's where it hurts Foden because some of these players have to play. Alvarez isn't going to play his preferred position in the 9 because Haaland is there and he's too good. So Alvarez has to get minutes somewhere. We've discovered he's pretty good if you keep him close to the goal, central, behind Haaland. What happens then is the knock-on effect is unfortunately Phil Foden, because he's so versatile, gets pushed out somewhere else. So I don't want to leave out the fact that Pep is trying to keep a small squad very, very happy here with minutes, and sometimes the more versatile players have to move around or they have to sit out.
Do you think, if that's the case, and I think it is, because I watched the video that you shared, Mo, in terms of Nobbins and his kind of analysis of the game against Liverpool, just excellent. If that's the case, then, and for instance, Alvarez has been shoehorned into a number 10 when I think Foden, we would agree, I think Foden is better. Is the best next move for Foden is to move to another club?
Whoa!
Is it time to move on and make? Because
a lot of people say,
I can say for Newcastle, if he played for Newcastle, people would see him shine in a whole. That's when people start saying, "Oh wow, he's world class. He really is world class." Not because obviously we're not better than Man City, but you got a star student now really kind of beginning to shine amongst the others, and people really getting to see who he is. Is it time now for Foden to move on? He's won everything at Man City. Is it now for him to make his own mark?
See, again, you can hear I'm Canadian.
You're gonna stab them in the heart, and he's struggling to get something out. You know,
I'm gonna get there. Because I hear it often. Like he's won everything, and as an athlete, I don't know how you're like, I have one of every trophy. Now I'm okay just to express myself and play the game and not really. And
that doesn't mean you're not going to win.
Go for goals and stats. Like I struggle with that. When many people say he's won everything, well, what does that mean? That means you don't want two of everything.
No, in a sense, he's won everything with Man City. Can he go and win everything with Real Madrid? Can he go win everything with Barcelona? Can he win everything else with
Man United?
Man
I don't
United.
think,
No, not Man United. Not Man United.
I stopped. I showed restraint just there.
Man.
But I see him do amazing for Liverpool, for instance. I know he's not going to go to Liverpool, but I can see him really, really standing out. The point being is he wins more trophies, but he gets to. I think we really say that he makes his own. He can be like what Maddison is to Tottenham, what Odegaard is to Arsenal.
But ultimately, people talk about the same. They talk about Alvarez the same way. You know, should he leave for Real Madrid or because he's not going to play? So it's kind
of the point I was making. Like he's got to keep them all happy.
But the thing, at the end of the day, though, if you look at Kevin De Bruyne, I understand that a lot of people, he's world class or whatever, but he gets hurt a lot. And when is the time Kevin De Bruyne is when is he going to leave City? Is it going to be next season afterwards? And you got Foden, who is a diamond, basically.
So listen.
I know you don't like this, bro, but
I don't like it, and I don't like it. I'm going to use this example. Okay, Neymar in Barcelona, choosing to go to PSG after winning everything at Barcelona, being the man, doing it on his own. One could honestly say, fight it out at Barcelona. Look to nudge or move or show why you're equal or better to Messi, and have Barcelona be yours. If KDB is injury prone, if Mahrez is left, David Silva has now left, Foden has a chance. Like Mo mentioned, at 23, This could be his team.
To be one of the best players.
But you know, sometimes the saying goes.
Neymar's mistake wasn't leaving Barcelona. Neymar's mistake was going to PSG.
Right.
That could
and
be.
Sometimes,
if Neymar went to any other decently run team, they would win the Champions League more times than not, because Neymar.
What would happen if he went to Manchester City?
Exactly. I agree. I agree.
I need to plug something, guys. We have 200 people here. Can we get the likes up a little bit? We're not even on 100 likes. This is embarrassing, to be honest. Get the likes up so we can get. To be honest, this is really embarrassing, people. Get the likes up so we can get more people watching. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Come on, people. There's only 60 likes out of 200 people. Please hit that like button for us. Please, people. Let me do these super chats so we can go to the Jake here saying Mulv is thriving. You're getting praise.
He was at the game tonight, Jake.
Oh, Jake. That's Jake. Oh,
well, that's another friend. Joey was also at the game, my podcast partner. So
all right, thank you so much, people. Francis, Red Lips, I'm coming for you. No crazy takes. Oh, you'll absolutely hear them. By the way, guys, just to let you know, and I'm just throwing this out there before we go on. Mohammed thinks that Mourinho's career is better than Pep Guardiola. MCFC Solo, Foden's versatility has hurt him at times.
Everyone's on good terms. Everyone's all good than that. Why would you? Anyway.
MCFC Solo. I'm going to come to that. By the way, Mohammed Salah is one of the guys that never put a statement out without explanation. Even if you disagree with the explanation, you can debate his reasoning, but it's not just, Mourinho is better than Pep, and just walks away.
Well, he can give his explanation. He's just wrong.
We'll hear it later. Foden's versatility has hurt him at times. How was he ever supposed to overcome KDB? Gondo, David Silva, Bernardo, this aren't your average bowlers. But I believe that Foden is very talented to the point that he's better. In my opinion, he's better than Fernando. Time will come. 23 years old. Yes. The last one is EMMC saying Foden needs consistently put GA to win Ballon d'Or before Bellingham.
Yeah,
it's true. But I want to move on from Foden. I know people love this debate. Foden, Saka. Oh my God, this Madison, blah blah blah, all this talk. But for Manchester City today, as a whole team, Manchester City is not only Phil Foden. Are Man City fans happy? Or they're asking questions. How did we concede 2 goals? We're 2-0 at halftime against an RB Leipzig that is not up to the level like us. Anybody can take that, by the way. Oh, I can't. I shouldn't need to point. Mauve can take that.
Yeah. So, obviously this was a game of 2 halves. The first half was absolutely shocking. From comical defending. Very complacent at the back, Akanji, Ruben Diaz, and then very sloppy up front, giving the ball away quite a bit. Once we got into the final third, typically losing the ball, which is quite unlike us. 2-0 down at halftime. I did text my mate who was at the game, and I said, "Don't worry, mate, we'll win this." So I was pretty chill at halftime that we would come back. And obviously, second half played out like it did. The substitutions were brilliant. Doku is just you can't handle this guy. He's unreal.
He's everything Jack Grealish isn't, but fine. I'm just gonna leave that out there.
We'll get to that. I think it was really gutsy of him to leave Rico Lewis on the pitch and take Kyle Walker off. I thought it was the right decision at the time, but I thought it was quite gutsy to leave a kid on. And then Nathan Ake has just been an absolute rock at the back, and rightly he came in for Ruben Diaz, who was looking at getting sent off second half for sure. So obviously the positives are the comeback, Phil Foden's performance, Doku's performance, Ake, or trying to think who else. I'll leave it there. But if you're asking for what were the negatives, Mo, what are the worries? I think
to find the worries, right? You're the best team in the world. We have to find the holes.
Yeah, of course. I think complacency was always going to be the big issue this season. That and replacing the output of like Mahrez, Gundogan, and the injury to KDB, and now John Stones. It's going to be how would we adapt to those losses? And so far, I would say pretty well. This game was this is uncomfortable territory for Pep because he's being forced to play more chaotic type of game than he would like to. And I think it showed in this game, and probably Liverpool and Chelsea. The last 3 games have been more on the chaotic side. He's not a huge fan of that, as we know, and that's largely down to missing John Stones, I think. But I'm not super worried after seeing that. I was proud of the comeback, but certainly we need to make sure we stay focused for 90 minutes going forward. And yeah, we can't have those lapses at the back. That
man,
my take on it.
It almost feels like when City are losing, like they're going to come back. I mean, it's like a cat toying with a mouse. I mean, you know what I mean? It's crazy. I know they don't mean to do it. I mean, no professional would do that, but it doesn't. To me, it didn't feel like Leipzig. I was getting the scores on my phone, and I'm like, there's no way they're going to lose. And then they tie the game, and then at the end, Foden takes it over. So I mean,
the other thing, I'm with you, mate. The other thing we have to remember is we needed a draw. You know what I mean, to top the group. And I think sometimes you get deep into the group stage of the Champions League, and there's a little bit of
I wonder, because I didn't see the game,
but sorry, sir, go.
No, just kidding. I didn't see the game, but I did see the Liverpool game. You said that Kanji didn't play well, and I wondered because obviously Kanji's role, which is he's not overly accustomed to, but he does it, which is now to venture forward and join the midfield, which Liverpool didn't really exploit very well. Yeah. My assumption is that RB Leipzig did exploit that and go or that didn't really happen like that.
I'll tell you how it went. So he was excellent against Liverpool, probably his best performance in that Stones type role. Today he just was asleep, just absolutely dozing at the back for their first goal, and then Pep decided not to even play him in the mid. He didn't move up into the midfield for the rest of the match. He just stayed in a back four essentially. So
Okay.
So it played out today.
I think I don't like how we give up our goals. I'll be honest with you, but we've always been a team to defend by committee. Like all 10 of the players defend. So I think a little bit of it is what's happening in midfield and just not being on the same page, because it's made our defense vulnerable. It was right for Diaz to be subbed off because we can't afford him to catch a second yellow and then be a man down. And the complacency is so tough because I heard we didn't have the liveliest of fans versus Liverpool, and there's whole kinds of different issues with that. But also the fact that we were playing that on Saturday to play again on Tuesday. Our fan base and our players can't feel like we'll just turn it on. I know Pep won't allow that. Like Pep won't allow any type of player to just kind of coast or take it easy or not play at their level. But I think we definitely need to be encouraging the players to go for this again, because to win a 4-peat or even to repeat for Champions League is nearly it's impossible. We know a 4-peat's never happened, but even to repeat as Champions League champions, like that's not easy to do. So I'm happy with the comeback, because to have one of those in your pocket to lean on or to encourage the players to move past is huge. The fact that our attack were so good, because I think we did leave goals on that pitch. As poorly as we conceded, I think we still should have been scored at least one in that first half. And to have the comeback and to keep them quiet or keep them off the score sheet in the second half and to score 3, and the way we did it with the attacking players that we have, I'm seeing I'm with the positive. I'm happy with it, because large picture, Mo, I'm now chilling for the last game. I'm in a slight injury crisis, Mo. I don't
for Manchester City. I'm sorry for Manchester. Mohammed, go ahead.
Sorry, no, I just wanted to add something to the brother and the Man City fan to the bottom right with the beautiful blue hat.
That's me.
Yeah. So it's a 2-part statement / question. The first part is I feel like the reason Man City are conceding so many goals is because their biggest element since Pep Guardiola has been control. Their biggest form of defense is essentially keeping the ball away from everyone, and when they lose it, they do everything in their power to get that ball back within seconds. And of course, with the John Stones not being there, I think that is a major issue. But at the same time, we've never seen Man City concede as many goals as they're conceding. They still do have the majority of possession in games. Is that a worry for Man City going forward? Because as you said, you currently, it's not really an issue if Man City go 1 or even 2 goals down. But later on in the season, when you play these better teams, can you really afford the, like, are you guys worried as Man City fans with the way you're conceding goals and the number of goals you're conceding?
Yes. The first part, the comment part of your comment was spot on, mate. Absolutely spot on.
Why are always everything he says spot on? I thought, come on, just give me
I've been saying the same thing Mohamed's been saying. He hasn't told me one time that I did a good job.
The second part, are we worried about?
Yeah, you want the channel? Salad. You on the channel? I can leave. I can leave, bro. I can leave.
Do you know what Mo's used to? Mo's used to putting me on these panels with guys just going back and forth at each other, actually having a football discussion. And Mo's not really used to that, so he can't. He doesn't know how to react.
No, I think we are worried. I think they tell you we were worried about the way we conceded tonight, in particular, just brainless defending. Just asleep at the wheel stuff. And I'm happy that we learned those lessons on a night like tonight when there wasn't too much at stake. It was either first or second place in the Champions League group, right? So let's learn those lessons now and don't repeat them in the bigger games, I would say. But yeah, I would agree that there's reason to worry. For sure.
I'm sorry. Let me do a couple of things. Number one is that Ed's, and I want to get this opinion. Ed's Mancunian therapy here, one of our members, of course, he's saying stop overlap with Walker and invert right wingers to the middle. And he followed that by saying, Judge Mo, we have the lowest XG from the right side. I haven't fact checked this, guys. It's a comment, right? It's a comment. But if that's the case, I think this, my explanation for this is actually expected. When you have your right back, Kyle Walker, who is one of the best defensive right backs I've seen in my lifetime, you are expecting your right wing to be isolated. You are expecting not a lot of overlaps. You are expecting your right winger to drift in the middle a little bit because, and also when you have Jeremy Doku, which people don't understand this in football, the people that played football and coach football, coaches always used to tell us that because we have this guy here, we're going to tilt the field to the left or tilt the field to the right. That means every time we're playing, we are trying to go to the left winger or the right winger. And because you have Jeremy Doku now, and you don't know how electric this guy is, Pep would tell the guys, we're going to try to go to the left. We're going to try to go to the left because he is the one who's going to be everybody one-on-one. And he's going to shock the defense and he's going to get people out of the place. That's what people don't understand. So, of course, your XG from the right side is going to be a little bit weaker. It's as simple as that. That's my 2 cents about Manchester City. For the defense, the people that say, Mo, you're nitpicking. Yes, I am. And I did that for Pep Guardiola since 2009. Jose Mourinho said it. When Manchester City lose the ball or when they press, if you bypass the press, you are in for a 3-on-3 or a 4-on-4 or a 2-on-2. And not a lot of teams in the world have the quality to do that, to bypass the press. But when the teams that have the quality to do this, they do it and they score goals. Because 9 times out of 10 in football, you'd back a forward against a defender. 9 times out of, because that's why someone scouted this guy to be a forward and someone scouted this to be a defender. Defenders normally like to defend in groups, like to defend in positions. They don't like to defend one-on-ones. Forwards like to work one-on-ones. They love that. That's the job of a coach, to get your forward one-on-one with a defender. And that's why Manchester City's system work against 95% of the teams in the world, because 95% of the teams in the world don't have the quality to bypass the quality press that Man City do. But when they face a team that has this quality in terms of bypassing that press, you're in for a big chance every time. That's why Victor Valdez at Barcelona, for example, he had the most clean sheets, but he has the lowest saves because all the chances against him were one-on-ones or a clear-cut chance. That's why people don't understand. That system has, I don't know how to say it in English, but it's two sword with two, whatever that is.
You know double-edged sword.
Exactly. Sword. It works against most of the teams. That's why Pep Guardiola is the best coach in the history of the game to create a system that will win you leagues. Because that's the sentence. He creates a system that wins you against 8 teams out of the 10 teams you're going to face in the league, or 9 teams, twice. But sometimes when it comes to, that's why Pep Guardiola lost to Real Madrid 4 when he was coaching Bayern, because Real Madrid had the quality to bypass his press. That's why Inter, for example, when Jose Mourinho had the Goran Pandevs, the Zanettis, the Cambias, you were able to bypass the press. That's it. People need to understand that. That's why Akanji was left 1-1 today. When that long ball was played, by the way, Manchester City players didn't know who to mark, because the RB Leipzig had 4 guys, and Manchester City would have 3 defenders only, because everybody was marking somebody else. That's what people need to understand. That's my 2 cents about it. I'm done. I'm over. I'm out.
No, I was going to just say that to add to that, I think it was also pointed out that in the Premier League, I think against the top 6 so far, Man City have only drawn 2, lost 1, I believe. So it kind of goes to what Mo was saying in terms of when it comes to the better teams, that this is what happens. Also, again, going off of Nobbins' analysis, because it is so tilted to the left, the attack becomes a little bit more predictable for the opposition to deal with. And if you're a better side opposition, you can deal with that. And I think, but also the last thing is, teams do get better. Even Burnley play a high pressing, go forward. They don't have necessarily the players just, at the moment, as you can see, but teams do. We play that way. Obviously, other teams get better. And so it's going to be tougher. And we know that, we knew from the beginning of the season that there's going to be a slight drop off for Man City, because Gundogan gone, Mahrez gone, all these guys, all these amazing players are gone. So it was more about how can the rest of the pack essentially catch up with you. So that's the kind of niggly bit. So we'll see how it goes. But I think it's a nice problem to have.
my only concern with City is, not concern. I mean, what's what City fans feel? Does Doku start over Grealish at this point? And also, we got to mention, we talked about Foden, but the one that won you the match is Julian Alvarez at the 87th minute of the game. So, you know what I mean? Does he need more time? You know what I'm saying? So
who?
That's Julian Alvarez.
Julian Alvarez had 4 goals, 3 assists in the league, playing behind Erling Haaland. I don't think he can ask for more than this.
But what do you mean? Like, I'm saying more time, because he obviously doesn't.
He's playing every game.
He's pretty much starting every game.
This season he's played.
He's playing a lot more than last season.
The question will be when Kevin comes back. That'll be the issue for Alvarez.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but I mean, what about Jack Grealish instead of Doku, or Doku instead?
I feel like I say this every time we talk about Man City. I feel like when we get to January, they're gonna sort it out. There's not going to be any issues anymore, and they're going to curb stomp every other team. I mean, they're the best team in the world, and I don't think anyone is close apart from maybe Bayern Munich. Like, Man City always start slowly, if you want, or they make people believe that there's chinks in the armor, and teams have a way of getting at them, and then you go past Christmas, and all of a sudden they're winning 14 games in a row. We've seen this story so many times, like Man City, and at the start of the season, one of the reasons I'm so surprised that Man City are conceding so many goals is when I saw the defenders that they had at the start of the season, I was like, okay, this could be a team that rivals Chelsea's 2004, 2005, conceding so little goals. But of course, when you play such an expansive brand of football, you are going to concede so many goals. But they have so many world-class defenders. I mean, they've got like 6 centre-backs that start for all 19 teams in the Premier League.
That is true.
Like, that's how crazy it is. So when these guys get healthy, when Kevin De Bruyne comes back, it's no one's going to be close to them. I mean, it's Manchester City. I mean, I feel like we have these conversations for the sake of having a conversation, but we all know what's going to happen when January comes, if we're being honest.
I thought I was the biggest City fan on this show, but I guess
he's a closet City fan.
Oh, you're not a City fan?
Here's the part where I get accused of being a City. Every week I'm accused of being a fan of someone just because I'm trying to.
You'll never win on YouTube. I promise you. One of the things that when I speak about Manchester City and Pep Guardiola, and I speak about defenders and goalkeepers in Pep's Guardiola, I think Pep Guardiola is the main thing. It's not the players. He makes the players better. He makes someone like Diaz look amazing. He makes someone like Akanji look amazing. He looks someone like Ake looks amazing. I think Pep Guardiola is a fantastic just coach, trainer. He isn't the greatest tactician in terms of he is learning though. in terms of changing the games. He is learning, and he's changing the way he plays the game now. I've seen now Pep Guardiola many times give the opposition the ball. He did it against Real Madrid. He did it against Liverpool. And that's for him to create space for his players. He never used to do that at Barcelona and even at Man City in the beginning. They were up against Real Madrid and they were full guns blazing at the Santiago Bernabeu, still trying to score and control. And they at the end, they lost the game. He didn't do that last year. And that's the brilliance of this guy, to be honest. Like, I think we are trying to find the problems, Mohammed, here with Manchester City. Otherwise, you shut it, move on, and move to the next year. I think we should shut this chance, shut the Premier League.
We could talk about the 150 other teams that are in the world. I mean, but I don't know.
We can talk about the 115 other things that are there, but
or another day. One other team.
You know what we need to talk about.
It's just an option. Yeah.
But to be honest with you, at the end, Manchester City, this notion that they will kick at the second half of the season. Remember, at the second half of the season,
we've seen it year in and year out.
We have seen it, yes.
It's not a notion, it's not a narrative, it's something that we know.
John Stones is going to come back. Kevin De Bruyne is going to come back. And then Phil Foden can play on the right side and he can be brilliant. Julian Alvarez can be amazing. So, but, however, my point is, one of the biggest things about Manchester City is the experience, is the Ilkay Gundogan, is the captain. I have seen many teams fall short because of one player. I'm not saying that they will fall short. Ilkay Gundogan, not only because of his ability, because of his leadership on the pitch, the way he dictates himself on the pitch, the way he talks to the player, the way he picks them up is completely different. As much as I didn't like Jack Grealish last year, he's an experienced player sometimes. Doku is more electric, more explosive. Gvardiol is young. So if you're telling me that he's going to stick to the same lineup as last year, or he's going to find a new system for these guys, Kyle Walker is different than the one who played last year, which was Akanji on the right side. He was the one John Stones used to invert, and it was Akanji on the right of Diaz. What we're saying is that also Liverpool got stronger. Liverpool before used to go on a 10, 15 games run. We saw that before.
Champions League chat. We're talking about the Europa League teams for, but
I'm talking about the Premier League. I don't care about the Champions League. I think
any chance to show throw shade at Liverpool, I dislike.
I've got a new best friend.
Okay, Liam here is just became a member. Thank you, Liam, for becoming a member, guys. Thank you so much for everybody that's super chatting the channel, supporting the channel. We have about 250 people here, so hit that like button for us, please, people. But so the last thing about Manchester City, do we think Liverpool can come close to them? They already went. Go ahead.
City. If we're talking about City and vulnerability, right? What's their biggest weakest link? It's what to do if Rodri misses games. Right, we've already experienced that this season. We are not the same team, not even close when he's out, and close second to that is John Stones. So those two players, if those two players can get fit and stay fit, and Pep is able to use them in the second half of the season, I think City will be fine.
What if they don't?
If they don't, we're in trouble. We're in big trouble.
So the reason why I'm asking that, and I'm going to ask a question, Chris. The second half of the season last year, John Stones played 23 games, if I'm not mistaken, or 21 games. All of these games, and I'm talking Premier League, he inverted and he helped Rodri and he unleashed everybody else. You literally were playing 5-5, like Brazil in 1950. Yeah. 5 defenders, 5 attackers. John Stones used to go forward. If John Stones is not fit at the moment, over the past 16 games that Manchester City or 18 games that Manchester City played, Pep Guardiola has not found the right player to do the John Stones role. He is trying to do it. He has been trying to make the mixes. Kovacic next to Rodri. Nunes. Invert Akanji. He sometimes tried to invert Ake. It didn't work. Rico Lewis now. If John Stones isn't fit, what is going to happen?
Somebody's going to have to step up.
Yeah.
It's been Akanji so far, but we'll see.
I was going to say that. I was only going to say that you got January and he has found the player. He just didn't get to get him, which was Paqueta.
He's not. He's not.
Paqueta
is Gundogan's replacement. The one that inverts from the defense is a completely different animal. John Stones last year was mainly in the middle.
Yeah.
He at some point was higher than Haaland. He was the one making the late runs in the 18 from the right side. And and when Man City loses the ball, he is the one, the shield with Rodri to prevent the counter attack. Paqueta isn't gonna do that.
It doesn't have to have like for like. It doesn't have to be an exact John Stones player. Paqueta is a different animal to John Stones. However, he has the ball control. He's able to dictate the play. He's able to make the right pass. He's press resistance. He can do all the things that John Stones can do. He's just not a defender. So there will be it still fits part of the system that he fits in. But Paqueta is his man, and the machine will just continue working. That's all that would happen.
He would have
Paqueta will come in.
See, that's why I think, Mo, you're doing a disservice to Pep Guardiola to think that he needs a specific like for like player, as the Newcastle fan, the brother was just saying. I'm sure if he gets someone else, he can. I mean, Pep Guardiola's had so many systems, like he switches he does so many different things. So
I don't know what
you're doing a disservice to Pep saying,
if you put it this way, I agree with you. I actually believe that Pep Guardiola will try to find another way to fix.
And I'm sure, I'm
never gonna say otherwise.
The only thing where I do agree with you wholeheartedly is if Rodri goes missing, there's no system or there's no player that replaces what Rodri brings to a football pitch. I feel like he's so unique, and he's just So that one there is he's, in my opinion, the most irreplaceable player in football right now. I can't think of any other team that a player means more to on any team in football. I mean, but I
should have won the Ballon d'Or.
Who?
Rodri.
They're never going to give it to a defensive midfielder, even though he deserves it. I mean, last year when people were saying Haaland should get the Ballon d'Or, I thought, you know what, if Rodri got it, I wouldn't mind whatsoever.
I wouldn't have mind.
They're never going to give it to a 6.
But to be honest, Haaland should have won the Ballon d'Or.
I don't think he should have, because Rodri was the most important player on that team, and
you cannot have 60 GA and not win the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
And your team wins the treble. Your team wins the treble. You have 60 GA. You break the record of the Premier League.
World Cup beats everything.
Okay. Now that argument is fine.
Sorry.
If someone is going to tell me here that Rodri, if someone is going to tell me that it was the World Cup, I'm going to raise my hand and say I'm wrong.
Should I drive the Ferrari or the
player in history will tell you they'd rather win the World Cup?
Or the Bugatti?
Yeah, I got a question.
I've got a question for you though. Rodri's never going to get 60 GA, so how do you judge Rodri on like when does Rodri become eligible for it? Because he's never going to get 60 GA. He's never going to score goals.
If they win a triple and nobody gets 60 GA.
Oh, come on.
Your question? I literally just answered your question. If the goals are spread around the team and someone like Rodri and they win a triple, here we go. Is that satisfying? Is that good?
I think that's fair, actually. Yeah.
No, it's a fair point. In a year, and it's kind of like an example of the special years that happen. I think in any season or any year where Messi doesn't win that couldn't have. That's my phone.
All right, we can
World Cup. Yeah, they're gonna get it. If Messi doesn't win the World Cup, Haaland wins Ballon d'Or. In a year where Haaland doesn't score 60 ridiculous sets of Prem record, more attention is focused on Rodri and the impact that he had for the club.
That's fair. That's fair.
He was incredible.
That's fair.
Incredible.
Now people say that Haaland isn't even a good player on the eye to win Ballon d'Or. Someone said that Haaland should never win Ballon d'Or ever. Yeah, he said that someone like him should never win the Ballon d'Or.
What's like
him? Like good of the game, he should never win the Ballon d'Or.
Purist.
Someone said that, and I'm like,
you can understand that argument if the Ballon d'Or is the best player in the world, like if that's what you're saying, and then you can kind of hear it. I mean, when you do as much as Haaland did last year, you should get the Ballon d'Or, but obviously
you can't compete against the World Cup, man. It's never going to happen.
I mean, Haaland can't even get
it. Did happen.
Any other season, he would have won it, no doubt.
Okay, let me do this. Francis, red lips. I hope that's not you don't get it's not offensive or anything. It's all right.
I'll continue to say this, by the way. This guy spends so much money on me every single week. Like he spends much money just to
investing on you.
He's calling you red lips. And, like, red
what
lips
is that?
What
does that mean?
I don't know, because Muhammad has a good. I think girls like you.
You got good looking. Francis likes you, man. Got good looking lips.
I have no idea.
He's drinking wine. That's why.
Right, red lips. Muhammad is saying your logic is so flawed. I'm a lawyer. Okay, and there is so many holes in your City indicative logic. Can I ask you who wins the Champions League? See next super chat.
Did he a lawyer like that?
Who wins the Champions League? I don't know. Who's the favorite to win the Champions League?
City or Bayern? For me, City or Bayern. And there's a huge gap between everyone else, in my opinion. Those are
huge gap.
I think there's a gap. Yeah. I think
you can't discount Real Madrid, man. You can never discount them.
Yeah, with Hissolo, I can. Yes, with Hissolo, I can, of course.
I think it's Man United, the most expensive squad in Europe.
Francis here with a great donation, guys. W is in the chat for Francis for a great donation from French Gunner. For French Gunner, of course. W is in the chat for my French Gunner guy. I think that's a lazy analysis. Arsenal bottled the league last season. Lukaku defended for City last season and missed 2 open goals. I'm going to dissect each and every one of them. They have Kovacic and Nunes. What is going on here? They robbed Everton the season before. Okay, 1 point at a time. Were Arsenal a better team than Manchester City until game week 30 last year?
In the Premier League or overall?
In the Premier League.
I don't think they were ever better than Man City last season.
What?
I don't think they were ever better than Man City last season.
How can you not when you get 50 points in 19 games?
And as I say every single week, as I've been saying, that is an anomaly. Like that will never happen again.
Okay, but see, you're deflecting. We asked about last year.
Okay, even last season.
Even last, no, they weren't. So they weren't.
I don't think they were at any point better than Man City. They were on better form than Manchester City. They weren't better than Man City. Right. And the main reason for that is the World Cup in the middle of the season last year. You could see Man City players in the first half of the season. None of them wanted to get injured. None of them were trying to get stuck in. That was so obvious, and it was the same for many big teams. And that's why Arsenal, I mean, most of their players aren't even going to the World Cup. Or a lot of their players aren't going to the World Cup, and if they are, they aren't starting for their teams.
Lukaku defended for City and missed 2 open goals. I can say that actually in that final, I think we were the better team overall. I actually think so too, and I'm not just saying that. I think we were the better team. We defended very well. We limited Manchester City, and we created the more clear-cut chances, in my opinion. Manchester City, let's say it was a 50-50. It could have gone either way, and I think that game was the best team to play against Manchester City the whole season. Inter. Somehow they did it. I don't know how. And they have Kovacic and Nunes. And that's one of the things that Mulv was talking about, that if John Stones doesn't come back, there has to be another solution for it. Because Kovacic and Nunes... So I get what he's saying, that the Manchester City of last year isn't here yet. Are we saying that Pep Guardiola won't find a way? We're not saying that. But are we a little bit, for me personally, Mo here, or am I skeptical a little bit, because I'm not sure if John Stones will come back from the injury the same. And I keep saying that Kevin De Bruyne coming back from a back-to-back hamstring injury is always tricky with surgery, always tricky for people that play football. And if Kevin De Bruyne doesn't come back and John Stones keep getting injured like this, I think Manchester City will have to be a little bit different. Are they better than everybody else, even without Kevin De Bruyne and John Stones?
Yes.
I believe they are very close to Liverpool. The answer is no. I think
it's really tight, though.
It's very tight. Exactly. Like it might, and conclusion might change. Can I say one thing? Conclusion might change. Go ahead.
I'm saying you're doing all these hypotheticals. If this happens to reduce Manchester
City. But at the moment, they are not there. At the moment, they are not there.
No, but you're forgetting. But then another thing you're forgetting is how thin Liverpool's squad is. They're 1 or 2 injuries 100%. Away from being not a good team.
I don't think they are that thin, though.
I think
only at the centre back. I don't think that's that thin.
Even in midfield, you're 1 or 2 injuries away from having Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott in midfield. You're 1 injury away from not having Mo Salah.
That bad. I actually believe so.
No, they're not that bad, but they're not going to win.
You cannot play Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott together. But what I mean is that they have a little bit of depth. Well, Manchester City, I can say the same. Rodri gets injured tomorrow.
We're done.
It's over. And this is the most valuable player in the league. He's the most valuable player in the league.
They're without the best midfielder in the world, Kevin De Bruyne, or the best attacking midfielder in the world, and they look just fine. Like Man City can lose everyone else apart from.
You think they look just fine when they drew 2 games, lost 2 games already out of 12 games?
And still
is that the standard of Manchester City?
No, but listen, this is the reason why we're calm. The reason why we're calm is because we believe that Stones and KDB will be healthy when needed later in the latter stage of the season.
You're so calm that you're cooking and doing this show at the same time. That's
you know what? Time going wise with Kevin out here, and I got to feed my 2 little minions.
I wish I had your skills.
Nah, simple. But the thing this is why we're calm. But I agree with Mo. Without Stones, without KDB, I do give the edge to Liverpool from a team.
I don't give them the edge. I think it's a less percentage for Manchester City. Like, you might have to fight it harder because I think the league is going to be tight. With KDB, Stones fit, I don't think anybody has a chance at all. By the way,
yeah, but that's a big if. To be honest with you,
well,
KDB.
we can do the same. We can do the same.
But I wouldn't put it past Pep to find a way.
Exactly. KDB, you know, he doesn't stay fit. Let's be honest.
There is MMC saying there were no good players in the past 15 years other than GH, Hobbit. I don't know who's that.
I'm lost on that one.
And Vegas guy. I'm not sure what is this. EM. Can you clarify? I have no idea what is that.
Is it Messi and Ronaldo?
Probably.
Messi and Ronaldo.
Yeah. The Hobbit and the Vegas guy.
What do I win? What do I win?
Oh my God!
That's fantastic.
That's really rude.
Yeah, that's good.
Really rude.
It's really rude, but yes.
It's turned into a quiz show.
That's
well
really
done.
rude.
Well done. Listen, so I want to move on to Newcastle because we have done them this service. They got robbed. People ask me about my opinion in that penalty. It's absolutely robbery, in daylight robbery. The penalty shouldn't have been called. Newcastle should have won the game and should have been in a way more comfortable position in that group. I'm not sure if they're going to advance. Are they going to advance from the group now? Are they going to beat Milan at home? Most likely they will. But again, I don't know how this goal was called. It's just absolutely robbed. With Miley, who's absolutely fantastic, to be honest, in the middle. He had a little bit of some missed passes and stuff, but 17 years old. Manchester United fans talk about Kobe Mainoo. Man City fans talk about Rico Lewis. This guy plays for Newcastle United, 17 years old, in the Champions League, in Paris. Not even nervous. Not even nervous.
And you get to mention Livramento, 21 years old, too. Cooking.
No, Newcastle, I know we've got two Newcastle fans here, and before they go, I just want to say, bro, watching Newcastle Football Club play right now, it's ridiculous. Like, I've got a list of all the players they've got injured right now, right? And it's easy. Start. Dan Burn starts. Tonali starts. There's so many, like, it's ridiculous. Jacob Murphy, like, they had players today. They had 3 players on the bench today who've probably, I don't know if I heard that correctly, who have never played for Newcastle or have never made an appearance for Newcastle before. And the way they play away at Paris, it's just unbelievable. I mean, the way Eddie Howe's got this team set up. Did they deserve to win the game? However, I don't think they did. But the penalty was ridiculous. At first sight, I'm sure everyone thought it was a penalty. Like when it first happened, when you see the replay of hitting the chest and hitting the arm, that's never given. But like, props to Newcastle. And I know the result is heartbreaking, but you should be so proud of your team.
How can the fucker look at the monitor and say that it's a freaking penalty? How did this guy go to the monitor, look at it, and look at the ball hitting the body, and then the arm next to his body, and then he say, we think Mbappe should. Mbappe, you have been shit this game.
I think the pressure got to him, man. I think he denied them 3 penalties. I mean, to be fair, the referee was incredible throughout the game. I think he handled it really. I think he handled it really well. It's just that moment he felt he probably couldn't not give them that penalty again.
You can't hold on a moment. You can't deny. You said that he denied them 3 penalties. You can't deny something that's not there.
They weren't penalties. I'm saying from a Paris Saint-Germain point of view, he should be fired, suspended. I'm not. I don't. You know, had a good game though. He had a good game. He had a good game.
No, but
you cost the team.
The most important call in the game. He's putting up.
You cost Newcastle the potential. They might not even make it to the next phase.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? Who's here to guarantee that they're going to beat Milan at home? I understand that James's Park is a different thing, but Milan needs points. They need to win. So you know that it's just ridiculous. There's no way anybody can justify this, man. And also, you mentioned
it's not in your hand. If Paris Saint-Germain beat Dortmund, it doesn't matter what Newcastle do.
True.
It's done. It's over. And Dortmund are 10 points, and PSG out back PSG to beat Newcastle, Dortmund. I'm sorry, even in Germany. In my opinion, that's what it is.
Man. I'm gonna say this real quick with regards to the game, because I didn't get the chance to watch it fully, but watching the highlights obviously because my game going on at the same time. But my favorite player, Yaya Toure. Like I love physicality, right? And
do you think he's the best African player ever?
No,
I think he's number 2.
He's one of them. He's one of them.
Close.
He's one.
Close.
I think he's number 2.
I mean, he was one of only 2 to have won African Player of the Year 3 consecutive years in a row.
3 times.
Central.
Even though
we got a fan of Yaya Toure. You think he's the best player ever?
I think he's second.
Yeah.
After
He
Samuel.
ain't no better than Salah. He's not better than Drogba. Come on.
You're about to talk
Yaya Toure is levels
Drogba,
above
mate.
Didier Drogba. With all due respect,
yes, he is.
levels, bro.
Yes, he is.
Levels
Are you
above
about
Didier
to
Drogba. As a footballer, achievement, like I can name things. Like you want to talk on the eye, Yaya Toure better. You want to talk control, Yaya Toure is better. Drogba is amazing though, but Yaya Toure, bro.
Drogba has
give
changed.
me a break, Yaya Toure, bro.
Man, Drogba has
Fucking
defined game.
beast. He's not better than Salah, though. Of course, he's not.
Not better than Salah.
Eto,
Eto, Mohamed Salah.
Eto, he's not better than Eto. No,
That's the foremost.
let
I'm
him
not gonna allow you
land.
to be Mohamed Salah.
I'm enjoying this. Let him
Right.
land.
We're not doing
Riyad
it.
Mahrez is clear of all of those. bombers, man.
Riyad Mahrez as well. I think he's better.
Nah.
What Riyad Mahrez did, by the way, none of them did. None of them.
Which is what?
Winning with Leicester, the Premier League, and winning the PFA Player of the Year with Leicester.
That's why.
Nobody
that's why
ever done that. Yaya Toure did it with Barca and City. Eto did it with Inter and Barcelona. You know the difference, right? Mohamed Salah did it with Liverpool.
That's always my argument for why I take Mahrez over Salah, because of that Leicester season. It's something that we'll never. It's something we'll never ever see before.
I know we deflected because Veto.
But yeah, we deflected. We can spend hours talking about African football. By the way, please don't get me started on that, Ryan. I beg you.
How dare you start it? I'm gonna have a show with you. And I know you guys, with you guys friends. I saw the podcast. You guys sit together and you got shit on Mo Salah for some reason. I don't know what it is. Some of them are Man United, so he's sitting with people. Some of them are Man United fans. One of them, I think, is an Arsenal fan. And for some reason, Mo Salah gets so much hate, and I'm like,
it's because we like our players to have like a good control of the ball, like when the ball is hit very hard.
Tell me how many players you have seen that can dribble a whole back line of Spurs on Manchester City and score wonder goals. And tell me how many players you've seen that break the Premier League record playing from the right side in his first season in the Premier League. Nobody.
Say that again.
The answer is no one.
So I didn't hear what you said.
Tell me one player that dribbled the whole back line of Manchester City. Tell me one player that scored the wonder goal.
That's the one goal that everyone goes back to when they want to defend.
How about when he dribbled the whole Spurs? How about when he dribbled the whole Spurs?
Ruben Diaz shouldn't have gone to the ground. I've seen Mahrez do that million times.
Could have, shouldn't have. Maybe Mo Salah did a feint. Tell me a player that came from the right side, broke the Premier League record in his first season with Liverpool.
He's one of the
fourth.
He's one of the greatest goal scorers we've ever seen, but he's not a better football player.
He's not the best player.
Let's not do this. Let's do this.
Let's not get into that.
It's an insult. It's an Egyptian channel, and I'm not taking it.
Oh, that makes sense.
I'm not taking it.
Mo Salah is the greatest, man.
Yo,
you didn't know I'm Egyptian. You had no idea.
Mo, we can do a whole.
We know you're Egyptian. You're Egyptian
episode if you want, and I'll tell you all the reasons why Mo Salah is not the best African player or even close to it.
Mohamed Salah is second after Eto because he won a triple with Inter, so that's why Eto is.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll hear that conversation when he wins your country, the African Cup of Nations. You can't be the best.
He had one of the worst generations to ever play in African football for Egypt. What are you talking about? He made Egypt reach the World Cup.
The team that's won more African Cup of Nations than anyone, and
we have the worst
won 3 in a row
at the moment ever.
The worst,
to be honest, and you know what I'm talking about.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know that we have shit players in Egypt. He made us single-handedly reach the World Cup.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Haaland can't do that. After 30 years.
Haaland can't do that.
Can we move
that in?
Erling Haaland. Let me do this.
Haaland can't even get his team to the Euro. That's the conversation.
And he didn't have an outer guard.
The golden generation of Norway. Anyway, let me do this.
Now you've got me coming off mute. You know what Haaland did do?
It's not spaces,
Haaland set the league goal scoring record, and it wasn't empty calories. It resulted actually raising trophies, which Mo Salah wasn't able to do. his goals were empty
Yeah,
calories.
nobody handed Mo Salah the chances. Mo Salah didn't have KDB to hand him the chances.
Okay.
I can come back. Listen, I have a comeback for everything. I heard it all on Twitter.
Jordan Henderson.
Come back for everything.
Well,
I got to
that's
I'm out of here. I'm done.
That's a good one.
I'm done. I'm done here.
No, but before you go, just I mean, my only beef with Erling Haaland is the fact that he can't get his country to the Euros when Scott McTominay can with Scotland in the same group. That's my biggest beef.
Pedro was about to say something about Newcastle. He went Yaya Toure and he was just about to
say
something about Newcastle.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna say this and then I got to drop. I'll say this, but and again, I only watched the highlights. I wasn't able to watch the full game. I will watch it tonight. But I love the physicality of Newcastle. Like, I absolutely love the midfield. They make you fight that game. And, Joe Linton's not the most skilled guy, but the fact that he's dropped into that midfield and he's actually owned it, and he takes no prisoners. He's unapologetic. He'll go through you. He'll win that ball. He'll hold you off. He made Arsenal players look like kids. Like, I love that physicality of Newcastle. So I believe you guys were done dirty with this penalty call in the 87th or whatever minute. I'm gonna watch the full game, but you guys are on the up. I think from a club standpoint, everyone needs to be paying attention because I don't think you guys are going anywhere. Whether Eddie Howe's going to be your manager moving forward, who knows? But I think what you've established, you're going to be a problem. But Mo, thanks for having me on. Nice meeting all of you guys.
You too,
nice to meet you, bro. Take care of yourself.
Wait till Eddie Howe figures out how to use Joel Linton in the John Stones role.
Wow.
Ciao.
Let me do these super chats.
Or until a million players come back from injury.
So Mohammed Salah is saying City, not Madrid, are favorites for the Champions League using foresight logic based on probability, fine. But using your EPL logic on induction, you say because City won EPL 3 times, then they win the 4th. Flawed. You can answer that.
Two completely different. Like,
I'm fixing the thing. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying it's 2 completely different conversations. Real Madrid aren't as good as they were when they won their 14 Champions Leagues, or when they won 3 in a row not too long ago, or when they won it previously. I mean, all of their players are older. Man City are still as good. Man City will still be the favorites. I mean, Man City have only lost pretty much Gundogan, in my opinion, because Mahrez didn't play the last 10, 15 games of the season. But they're 2 completely different arguments, in my opinion.
Listen, I want to counter that. Real Madrid, now he's hurt, but Camavinga is terrific. Tchouameni, terrific. Valverde, young guys. Rodrigo, Vinicius. I mean, I watched La Liga weekly. They were in Spanish too, and they talk about it. They say Real Madrid is not going to win this, never, and they ended up winning the 14th. They said this, but they weren't going to win their 10th. And so I'm not saying that they're favorites over City. Don't get me wrong. However, I don't think City is looking at them on this.
Oh no, you're right, 100%.
Competition and thinking, oh, these guys are. You know what I'm saying?
No one's counting City. I mean, so no one's ever gonna count Real Madrid in a Champions League game. Trust me. Like, not a single team. Manchester City could be the best team ever, and they're not going to go to the Bernabeu and think, okay, we're going to get a result today.
And with that, I agree that City.
I just think
favorites to win.
Overall, I think they're the favorites. Real Madrid and Bayern Munich are a little bit below them, and then after that, there's a gap.
He's saying DM is your best player. Something is not right in that lineup.
Really? No, I think Pep Guardiola would always put his best player at number 6.
In the midfield.
Yeah.
Yaya Toure. What are we talking about?
Come on.
Man, these guys don't
we've had Fernandinho, we've had Rodri.
These guys don't like football, man.
Yeah, no, DM's a super important player.
It's a super important player. Francis saying, Mo, one day bring me with Mohammed Salah, brother. We'll make it happen. I'll make it happen. So he's going to debate you live.
Take my number at this point. Just FaceTime me.
Guys, can we get the likes to 200? It's 250 people here still with this fantastic, absolute brilliant panel. Newcastle, going to Newcastle again. Philip, I haven't heard you. Like, what was your analysis of the game?
Yeah, I think I kind of argue against in terms of Newcastle not deserving to win it. I think we came to PSG, went to their stadium. I think over the course of both games, had it not been for the goal that came at the end, we would have won on aggregate 5-1 against PSG. We nullified Kylian Mbappe. Miley and Kieran Trippier and Joe Linton working that wing, even Jamal Lascelles. I think if you can do it with that, then I don't see how you don't have the kind of the say to say, you deserve to win the game. We scored the goal. PSG didn't. They ended up doing pot shots. Yes, I think having said that, I think Pope obviously had to make a number of but 2 or 3 kind of chances from PSG, but that's all they were limited to at the end of the day. I think you can still be deserving of a victory and having a defensive performance, which is what Newcastle did. We made no substitutions because we had no substitutions. And so if PSG were that good, and it's not even a disrespect to PSG, I think they're a good team. They've got some individually good players. But I don't think they are quite there yet as a system team, which is I think what Enrique is trying to do. That's why I kind of back Dortmund to win. But I do think we deserve to win it. In terms of the call itself, I did say that before. Sometimes I kind of made an analogy of kind of boxers and having the same issues with referee decisions. Nowadays, you just have to knock the opponent out rather than leaving it to the judges. And I don't think we did that on purpose, but essentially that's what happened. The referee did. The other truth is the referee did have a good game, and then he went to the VAR. And if everyone saw the screen, the VAR showed. It seemed to me that he showed one angle in a very slow down. So the VAR was almost like trying to make their case that because the referee didn't give it initially. And the VAR said no, and then it's almost like
referee didn't have the personality.
Money talk.
Who the referee?
Yeah,
I thought because
he didn't have the personality to be under the pressure of everybody looking at him.
I feel like he was incredible throughout the game. I think that one mistake shouldn't overshadow that one.
Yes, it should. Yes, it should.
No, okay, bro. Listen, that one mistake is probably the reason you guys probably won't make it into the round of 16. I completely understand where you're coming from, right? But for 94 minutes, he managed that game pretty well. He was fair. It's just I feel like someone said it before we went on. I feel like this season in the Champions League, they have been very, very harsh with the handball. Like if the ball touches your hand inside the box, they're given that penalty. I know Mo's going to say the rule says if it touches a body part, etc., etc. But the hand is kind of outside a little bit. It's kind of a bit of that kind of angle.
But he was running like he literally
no. It's never a penalty. It's never ever a penalty ever. It should never be a penalty.
You can't have it. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, "Oh, it's a little bit out," but I know it's never a penalty. Like you can't. You got to either say.
You know what Salah is saying? You guys know what Salah is saying? He's saying
their angle. I'm saying from my point of view, never a penalty. But when I say his arm's a little bit out, I'm saying I can see why they gave it.
No, because they said it's a natural position. To have your hand there is a natural position. Anybody who runs will tell you that. That's just.
You know what Salah is saying here? He's saying someone opened a bakery shop, absolutely ran it, absolutely fantastic, delivered the best cakes ever, baked the best cakes ever. Everybody's happy, and then at the end, the register is absolutely got
stealing money.
And he. Exactly. Listen, his job is to manage the game well. He did that job. And when it came to the most important decision, he made it wrong. It's as simple as that. He robbed Newcastle.
How do we solve it though? Like, would you guys be up for that being a indirect free kick? Rather than...
No, it's not. It's not even a foul. No. If you make that call, you will still jeopardize Newcastle because who knows? They could have scored because of that.
So then.
It's not
but the law at the moment is kind of still flawed, right? I'm talking about this particular decision. It shouldn't be a penalty, even with the laws. Because it bounced off his body, deflected off his body to his hand that weren't above his shoulder. Simple as that.
But let me read this that Terry Flewers shared on his Twitter. He said the board. This is the problem with it too. The board recommends their recommend thing should be out the damn window. But it says the board recommends that UEFA should clarify that no handball offense should be called on a player if the ball is previously deflected from his own body, in a particular when the ball doesn't go in towards the goal. So that's it. Now you know what I mean. That's it. So
it's clear, simple.
It's the same thing as the ball goes in or not.
Going towards the goal, and you prevent the ball.
And he wasn't.
Which was what I can say when it comes to I didn't mention my tactical view on it. To be honest, to me, watching the game, PSG and Newcastle play very similar, and let me explain why. they have two deadly wings with Dembele and Mbappe, and we have two nice wings as well with Miguel Almiron and Gordon. And what we did better, and why I think that Newcastle deserved to win, is we defended better the whole time. PSG didn't at all. And so there's two parts of the game. We defended well and attacked, and all they did was just going forward all the time, very vertical. And look, let me tell you this stat, because from watching the game could be misleading. 31 shots PSG had. 31 shots. Only 7 went on target. So what's the percentage there? Compared to 5 for Newcastle and 2 when on target, and one of them was a goal. So you know what I'm saying?
I want to take the tape back a little bit because my friend Chris here said that Anthony Gordon and Almiron are similar to Ousmane Dembele and Kylian Mbappe. So I just want to I'm sitting here.
The way I'm playing. I
just want to get that back.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this.
And
Anthony Gordon is
someone in the chat to clip that in isolation.
You can clip it.
I don't want you to do the context.
And you can clip
will be the most
Dembele was a fraud.
on Twitter.
Dembele
you're safe, Chris. You're safe. I heard it clear.
Yeah,
you qualified it. You qualified.
You can clip this one. Dembele was a fraud for 5 years at Barcelona and decided he needed to go back to France. And Mbappe will never win a Ballon d'Or because he will never win a Champions League in this farm league that he plays in. So yes, they are. We need to see Mbappe in a bigger league, a more challenging league. Because
he literally means it, by the way. See, you guys all defend
Anthony Gordon is one of the best top 3
it.
wingers in the Premier League right now. So let me double that.
No, you instigated this. He was giving us a normal, like he was just talking normally, and then you kind of now pushed buttons and you challenged him.
Creator. That's
Go away,
job.
man.
I do think before, because you know the service sometimes Newcastle get when we beat teams is that, oh, but that team wasn't quite good. We beat Chelsea, they had an off day. We beat Arsenal, they had an off day. We beat Aston Villa 5-1, but Aston Villa didn't have a great day. We beat PSG, you're sure PSG will step it up. And sometimes I think it's
in the Carabao.
Yeah, okay, I won't go as far as City. I won't go as far as City.
Well, no,
it's a good win.
But you did enough to beat them, because it was also, if you remember, the City didn't have all their starters, just like Newcastle.
Can I give you another example?
I feel like people are in denial that Newcastle are actually a good team. I feel like that's what it is. I feel like people can't accept. I feel like people can't accept that Newcastle are actually now one of the not a good team. I mean, they've been a good team for about a year and a half now, but people can't accept that Newcastle are now one of the top teams in the Premier League. So they'll try and find all of these reasons to justify how they've won these games. So now that Newcastle are actually going away to PSG and having a performance like that, or beating people 4-1 or teams PSG 4-1 at home, they can't accept it, and it's like, okay, no, but this is the reason to try and justify it to themselves.
I was going to say to you guys, in terms of being neutral, I wondered what you thought, because one of my ending thoughts after the game was, after all the dust settles, I think this is a sliding doors moment between Newcastle and PSG. I think that if PSG win the Premier League, even with Mbappe, they barely make top 7, and without Mbappe, they struggle. I think unless there's nothing to say that they don't improve, but I think if we come back next year and Mbappe leaves, for instance, I think we're just as good as them. To be honest, that's my view. And but I'm a very biased Newcastle fan,
Mbappe
so I want to
in the
see
game
what you
today.
guys think. Yeah.
Did you say if PSG were in the Prem, they'd be top 7?
Yeah.
Seventh-ish.
Yeah. Or fighting for top 7.
I never thought about that.
I don't agree.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Because apart from Man City and possibly Liverpool, I think they're better than everyone else in the Premier League, in my opinion.
I don't think they're better than Arsenal.
I think they're better than Arsenal. I think PSG.
I actually think, can I answer? I think they have the better players. I don't think they're the better team at all.
Right. That's exactly it. That's my point.
It's just the way they run.
Individually, they're absolutely phenomenal.
As a team,
I think today, Mr. Hakimi today, but that's I'm actually judging how they play as how they're going to play in the league, right? In the Premier League. That's how we're judging them. We're not saying they're going to get Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp. They're going to say the same team. Hakimi today is playing on a different planet than everybody else. Defensively and offensively, the guy wants to track back only when he wants to track back, wants to dribble around his area when he wants to dribble around his area. Ousmane Dembele is, I want to pass outside when I want to pass outside. Kylian Mbappe, by the way, is a completely isolated person on the pitch. He is just completely different than anybody else. If you say individuals, Mohamed Salah, yes, I think actually they are as comparable as anybody else. But as a team, Luis Enrique didn't get them yet to play as a team. Other than, there's a reason why he's starting Luis in the middle, right? Fabian Ruiz. He's starting the youngsters in the middle. He is trying to create something as a team, but still his superstars are completely,
you know what?
Away. Donnarumma, by the way, absolutely shambolic. Every time he plays the football game.
I've been saying for a while that he's going to lose his Italy starting position. I've been saying for because I mean we watch Serie A. I think Provedel is a better goalkeeper than him, and I think Vicario is now a better goalkeeper than him too.
He's not. His bounces are his rebounds are not.
Yeah, I mean he's supposed to be too good of a goalkeeper to be gifting goals like. I'm not saying he's supposed to be. I'm saying he's supposed to be.
But you know this PSG thing. I mean, it's been going on forever since with Pochettino. Before that, it's just the way they run it, and also the way their star plays. Mbappe plays like the king of the world. You know what I mean? Like he just grabs the ball, he runs.
I don't like the guy.
He's so good, I guess. But he's not a team guy.
I wholeheartedly agree. By the way, the fact that he never ever tracks back, the fact that he thinks
he doesn't want to pass, bro.
He thinks the world revolves around him.
Yeah.
I feel like that attitude is the reason why.
He's ran his career like
he probably won't be successful at Real Madrid because Real Madrid they wave the white handkerchiefs at Cristiano Ronaldo.
And Vinny's not gonna take it. Vinny's not gonna take it. Oh my God, Chouameni, Camavinga, Jude Bellingham. I'm not gonna take that from him. They're not gonna listen to him
because now
Jude Bellingham will.
He thinks I'm better than all of you. You're not.
But the thing is, there's not a problem with the player thinking I think Haaland can tell you I'm the best striker in the world. But the problem is but you still have to be a team player, and he's ran his career that way because what he did to Real Madrid for the last 2 or 3 years is not of a man that has a word. And I'm not telling you, as a fan, I'm not telling you how to run your life or whatever. I'm sure they have bigger decisions to make. But at the end of the day, just the fact that you let one of the biggest organizations in history of football down and you just feel like it is what it is because I'm Mbappe and you have to put up with it. And ultimately, I think he will end up at Real Madrid, but he's got to change his attitude or else
I don't think it's because since the age of 17 he was coddled and they've made him this prince, like he's the second coming of this, and then he won the World Cup and then he started to believe his own source, and now he thinks he's the greatest player of all time.
No, I was just going to say, if PSG were in the Premier League, they'd be Manchester United. They'd be a team with some good players, but they would be a pretty poor team overall.
I mean, we need to do this last super chat before we're going. DM is obvious, important, but never the best. Messi, Silva, KDB, same issue at Arsenal right now. When did we say Kante, Makaleli, Busquets were the best? He has a point. He has point. To be honest, I thank you so much for the super chat. Yes, your DM is the most important player, but he shouldn't be your best player. He shouldn't be your best player.
Yeah, but Kevin De Bruyne is Man City's best player. We're not taking that away.
He's saying historically the DM is not. I think apart from Italy 2006, where Pirlo was the best player in the whole World Cup, with Zidane, of course. But I think that's when your DM is completely different level. But that's Pirlo. Not a lot of people are Pirlo. Steven Gerrard, you know what I mean? I'm not saying, but Rodri isn't. I think Rodri, and as a footballer, isn't as good as Pirlo, as good as Gerrard. He is a more intelligent player than Gerrard. He's not. He can't he's not as good as Pirlo, of course. But anyway, thank you so much for everybody that watched us. Tomorrow, 1 p.m. Turn on your notification bell. It's Sava and Kunle for a spicy chat with them about Phil Foden. That would be
more Phil Foden. Wow.
More Phil Foden, yes, because we had this argument, and listen, I'm still convinced that Phil Foden needs to make a position his if you're a 10 out of 10 player. But I will take it if he makes performances like this, like today, on a winger in a midfield. I'm gonna say yes, you're an absolutely amazing guy everywhere, so the coach can put you everywhere. But he hasn't. Some games he goes missing as a right winger. Some games he plays behind the forwards, or he doesn't, and that's my point. and you need consistency from Phil Foden. A lot of Man City fans actually will say we need consistency from Phil Foden. I think that's what's missing, because he has this brilliant game, but sometimes you need. I will take less brilliance consistently. I will take an 8 out of 10 for 30 games than a 10 out of 10 for 5. A coach will tell you that. That's it. Thank you, everybody that watched us. Thank you, everybody. Hit that like button before you go. The guys, all their channels are in the description, so go subscribe to them. Turn on the notification bell. Thank you, Mohammed. Marv, absolute pleasure having you here. Chris, fantastic content. Philip, absolutely got it for you.
Wonderful
Philip,
to meet you guys.
I can't believe nobody named Souley Ali Montari as one of the best African players ever.
Get out of here.
And this stream is over, people. We're out of here. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We're out.